Hello. Welcome back to Tales from My Backlog, where after it's this is my first like proper movie review since doing the trilogy month last month, but we are continuing on with Terminator Genisys. Yeah, so last year slash this year, I took the plunge into the Terminator series. I can't remember how many I reviewed last year and which I reviewed this year. I think um, Salvation. I think it was last year I watched the first three, and then so far this year I've watched Salvation. And in case you don't know, I've very mixed feelings about the Terminator series. I watched Terminator 1 and was confused and, trying to keep up with the whole timeline thing and all that stuff. It resulted in a massive headache. Um, and then I watched Terminator 2, which I loved and still is the definitive movie. And I still say, even after watching Genesis, this franchise should have ended with T2. And I know a lot of people will agree with me because of how they would say would be the worst movies to come after T2. And I like uh, Terminator 3, and I found enjoyment in Salvation. But I literally just finished watching Genesis, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I went in with like the lowest of low expectations because I've been told by Terminator fans, my own family, that Genesis is not a great Terminator film. I disagree. I really enjoyed it. Despite the whole new timeline headache situation that it gave me, I really enjoyed it. I thought that knowing that they were going to have like Amelia Clark as Sarah Connors, that I was not going to like it, that I was going to actually agree with the masses on this front. But no, I really enjoyed this. I had a lot more fun with it than I expected. I love, this is, our second version of Sarah Connor in the franchise, and our third versions of no, not our fourth version of John Connor and our third version of Kyle Reese. And I thought the actors who betrayed John and Kyle this time around were fantastic. I really enjoyed my time watching this, and this is of course the one with Matt Smith in it, and he wasn't really in it an awful lot for me to have an opinion on Matt in this film, unfortunately. But I love the twist that it done. You know, I thought going into it that we're going to essentially pick up where Salvation left off, where we see the destruction of Skynet, and that was going to be it. That it was going to set up the first film, where they send the T-800 back to kill Sarah Connor, like for the first film. Kyle would have went back. Kyle and Sarah would have fallen in love. Done the hanky panky to make sure that John exists that and stuff, and it was nearly doing that. And I was watching it. I was like, okay, so what's different? How is this going to be different? Because it's literally just setting up the first movie, and then it flipped it on the script. Flipped the script by having both different versions of Arnie there. A different version of the T-800 versus the T-800 that we knew from the first film, that immediately gets marked off. And then not only that, when Kyle arrives, he's got to deal with a T-1000. And I was surprised on that because I really enjoyed the design of the T-1000. It was because of the digital effects that they used for the T-1000 that Star Trek used that for the Changelings and Odo in DS9. You know, and as like a 2014 film, the effects looks seamless. It almost looks identical, but obviously more updated because of how much technology has progressed since T2 to Genisys. Um, I also love, Arnie in this. He, even though he's again playing another version of the T8100, um, he still has that goofy side to him in certain aspects, like mainly with him smiling. Every time he tries to smile in this, I cannot help but laugh. And I honestly did not expect to see the twist of that the big, one of the big bosses for this film was John Connor himself. That he was essentially morphed into a machine and was sent to a different timeline, which created this whole brand new timeline to bring, which I guess is something what Star Trek is doing. Again, I'm bringing back to Star Trek here because in season 2 of Strange New Worlds, the eugenics wars that was supposed to happen in the 1990s got pushed to the 2020s. Um, but yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed this film, and I'm glad that AJ over at AJ's movie place convinced me to give T3 and Salvation a shot, because if it wasn't for me watching T3 and like, well, I'm already halfway through the series, I may as well watch the rest. That I probably wouldn't have watched this, and I'm glad that I did. Like I said, like I've been saying, I really enjoyed this film. I'm surprised that, well, not necessarily surprised that I enjoyed this film because of my movie takes on YouTube. I have, as I've been quoted, the hottest of movie takes. Just to check out any of the over 100 movie reviews that I've done on this channel, and you'll see some of them. Like I said in the beginning, I don't like the first Terminator film, but I love T2. I liked T3. I thought Salvation was okay, and I really enjoyed Genisys. I think Genisys is my second favorite out of the entire franchise, which has me like, I don't want to go into Dark Fate with this high of expectations, knowing full well that those expectations could be that rug could just immediately be pulled under. Because like I said, I went in with low expectations for this film because of what I've been told, and they were blown out of the park. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the new take on it, and Amelia Clark as a different Sarah Connor. There were times where I was looking at her, I was like, oh, I see why she was cast. Because in certain angles and certain lights, she does look like the original actress who plays Sarah Connor, whose name is escaping me at the moment. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I did not expect to enjoy it. So yeah, I'll definitely be upgrading this to Blu-ray at some point. I still also need to add in T2 on Blu-ray into my collection at some point as well, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyway, that is going to wrap up this video. Um, I am not sure what's coming next. Hold on. Okay, so I have here the schedule for June. On Friday, there will be my review for the Fallout TV series that I recorded all the way back in April, which this has also been recorded at the end of April, just because, as you know, I do have another big video coming out at the end of the month, and I want to at least get most of June's videos done, so that way for May, I can just immediately focus on finishing up that video. So yeah, that's gonna be it. So thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of Terminator Genisys in the comments down below, and I will of course see you on Friday for a TV show review for the video game adaptation Fallout. So I'll see you all for that one.